Hi there, in this video tutorial I'll show you how to write arrays and how to use them. In my previous tutorials I've already shown you how to use variables. Variables we can use to hold one particular value at a time. And if you have multiple values, we can use multiple variables to hold them. We can also use arrays to hold a list of multiple items or values. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have to store the computer names or host names of 10 systems. You can either write 10 variables to hold those values or write one single array to hold those many values. Let's see an example of arrays. We can give a name to our array, for example list in this case. Use a pair of parentheses. If we just leave it that way, it will be a blank or an empty array. The name of the array is list in this case. Let's store some values. Please note that we separate each value by a single white space. So in total we have got 5 numbers, 5 single characters and 2 words. So we have got 12 items in this list. Let's use the echo command to print the contents of our list or array. Please note that we use the dollar symbol just before the variable name to print its value. But in case of an array, we use a pair of curly braces. We surround it. Around the array name, and just after the array name a pair of square brackets is used, and then an index number. The first item is indexed or positioned at 0. So if we want to access the word hello, which is if we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So which is the 11th item. But actually in the memory it is stored at the index number 10. So we can give a number here, for example 10, to access the 11th item. The first item is at the index 0. We can use a star to print all the items. We can use the @ symbol as well. Let's use all those 3 methods. We are using the star symbol there. Now let's use the @ symbol. Now let's use 0 to access the first item. Let's open the script to have a better understanding. So the first echo command and the second echo command both are printing out all the values that we assign to the list or the array. The third echo command is printing out the first item here. As I told you that 0 is the index number that point to the first item, which is the digit 1 in this case, and it has been printed out here. Let's edit this script. As we have 12 items, the last item is positioned or indexed at 11. Let's remove these two lines, we don't need them. So you see, 0, the index number 0 is giving me the first item, and the index number 11 is giving me the last item or the 12th item. As you know, there are 12 items in our list. Let's create another script. We can have this array called list. Let's give it some values. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items in the list. Let's see how we can print out or get the count of the total items in the list. Let's use the star symbol here to mean that we are accessing all items, and hash just before the array name, as I have shown you here, so that we will actually get the count or the size or the length of our array. The array name in this case is list. Let's save it, quit. Let's clear the screen and run the script. Let's open the source script. So as we know, there are 12 items in the array called list. We are getting that count right here by running this echo statement. And the notation or the method we have used is this one. Please remember that we don't use the hash symbol when we are accessing an array's values. We use the hash symbol when we want to know the capacity or the size of the array that we are using. Let's see if we want to add more items to our list dynamically. By dynamically, I mean when we run the script we add more items to it. Let's use the same script here and present a prompt to the user using the read command with the -p option. Let's write a prompt. Let's give a variable name here to store the value that we will enter. As we already know, we can use this notation to access the total size or the length of the array. We can use this with a variable. Let's put it here. Let's remove this line. We don't need it for this example. Now let's assign the value to our existing list. So what we are going to do is append the new item or the new value to the list. We don't want to overwrite our array. As we know, this variable will give you the total count. In this case, 8, and we want to add to the existing list. So 0 means the first item and 7 means the last item. So 8 is the next item we are going to add. And then let's use the variable item here so that its value will be assigned to the list array at the position referred to by this variable's value. And then let's print it. So use the echo command. Let's see how it works. Let's first clear the screen and run the script. So we get a prompt there. Let's write something. You see the message, the last item in the list is high. Let us print out everything else. So So our existing list is not destroyed. We have got instead one more item added to it at the last. Let's run the same script using the debug mode. We can use -x as an option to our bash program and then run the script so that we see how everything goes behind the scene. Our script is executed and we are at the prompt now, so let's enter a value. You see, as soon as we entered the value, we got the message printed out. Please note here, size of list is equal to add. So the next item or the ninth item would be positioned at the index 8. And we have got all the items printed out here. There are other concepts such as multidimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional arrays. You may come across those concepts when you write programs in C or C++ or Java or in some other programming languages. Bash is not actually meant for multidimensional arrays, but we can still have some sort of associative arrays in Bash. What a multidimensional or a two-dimensional or a three-dimensional array means is actually you can think of a row that has got multiple columns. The examples we just have seen are talking about a single dimensional array. We have only one single column or a table that has multiple values, and we just have one single list or one single column. I have created a script already to show you how we can use multi-dimensional arrays. So let's start from this line. The statement declare we are using to declare an associative array. Use the -a option as shown here. The option is in caps and the name of the array that we are going to use. So in this example I have given it the name table. An example of 2D or double dimensional array is given here. So as we know that the first item is indexed at 0, but a two-dimensional array is like a row that has two columns. So the first row, which is indexed at 0, its first column is also indexed at 0, and we are giving this value to it. The first row, which is indexed at 0, and its second column, which is indexed at 1, and we are giving it this value. Likewise, I have created 3 rows. Each row has got 2 columns, and likewise we can print out those rows and their columns. So 0 is the first row, and then there is a comma, and the second 0 means the first column of that row. Same here, the first row and its second column. so the value b in this case. And similarly we are printing out the second row and its first and second columns, the third row and its first and second columns, and just drawing a short line. As we have seen in the previous examples that we can use an asterisk to point to all values, so this will print out all the values in the array called table. We can use this unset command to destroy a variable or an array we have declared or we have used. An example of a 3D array is also given here, and probably you can better think of a 3D array. So this matrix is shown here, which is a 3D array. Let's save and exit and run it. So we have printed out the values of the first row and then the second row and then the third row, and all the values stored in the array. These values are from the second example, that is the 3D array. Of course, we can format our output in a better way, like a table or a spreadsheet. We can make use of printf function or command in bash to format our output. We'll see an example of printf in a later session. Let's also see an example of variable here. We have already used variables. Let's give it a name. As we have seen that we can know the size of an array, we can also know the size of a variable, that is its length. Please note that we are using this pair of curly braces to separate the dollar symbol, because we need the hash symbol with the variable name. As we know that the dollar symbol and the hash symbol together mean the total number of arguments passed to our script. So just to avoid their special meaning, we are separating them. Let's save and quit. set the executable permission and run the program. Let's also open the script. So we have 5 characters here in the word hello, then a single space, and then the word world. It has got 5 characters, so in total 11 characters are there, including the white space. And you see the message, the size is 11. You can of course use a variable to hold a large amount of data or a lengthy set of values. Let's see an example. Enclosed by a pair of backticks. So this command will be executed first and its result or output will be assigned to the variable file underscore list. Let's print out its output. Stored in the variable. So we still have multiple values or multiple lines stored in one single variable. The output is identical to what we would get if we executed the command right here at the shell prompt. Please ignore this colorization. We can see there are these many characters, including the white spaces, new line, characters, etc. 1367 characters are there. So that is the length of the variable or the capacity of the variable or those many characters it is currently holding. That's all for this session, folks. Thanks for watching.